Hello, welcome to When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing layers, like I'm some kind of pill popper slash alcoholic, because it's not cold at all. It's very warm. I'm wearing God um a pullover, a shirt over that, and then this jacket. So whatever. Anyway, I had some bad news. One of our one of the LOLcows we make fun of on a regular basis, her content is gone. Now, I guess I'll play Asian women exercising in slow motion in the background since the video I was gonna make we can't do. Yeah, the adult baby diaper woman. I don't have access to her channel anymore. And I'm not gonna make a new YouTube just to find her channel. And if you remember the other time where the furry was coming after me, you remember the other person we were making fun of? It was this furry, and I started making videos about the furry, and then that channel disappeared, which I'm assuming I got blocked because I don't think those two people would delete their YouTubes because I made content about them. I just don't see that happening. So I'm assuming they blocked me. So once again, we lost another LOLcow. Okay, so we won't be talking about or making fun of the mindlessly diapered person. I haven't checked her X account. I don't know if she's still making OnlyFans fans content. I'm assuming so, but the YouTube channel is gone. Um, so yeah, it's a sad day on this side of the internet. So in the past couple of weeks, I have seen in person a couple really attractive women. Attractive in the sense they weren't fat. Yes. Anyway, the real reason why I'm making this video is to answer a question. What do I think is going to be released with the files? Because Trump told Pam Bondi to release grand jury testimony. It's really hard to talk right now. I don't know if you've noticed. It's hard to talk. It's I'm only slurring my speech because I'm sober. Anyway, this is what I think. And we're doing this because I've made several political predictions on this channel, and I've been right most of the time. So this is what I think. I think that the grand jury testimony, I'm assuming it's going to be released. I mean, I don't know. This is based on the judges. Just because the president wants something doesn't mean it's going to happen. But the testimony that's going to be released, I bet you it's going to all be redacted. Because I don't see how the public is going to win this because the public doesn't care. Okay? And this is more of a society thing and who actually protests. So when I think of protesting, okay, so we got the riots, right? Think of like the past 10 years of riots. They've all been like crazy, like left, like we're talking far left topics. Okay, and so I always think about the George Floyd riots. He died of a fentanyl overdose. I mean, that's what the medical examiner said. because he had a lot of fentanyl. I mean, we see people die of fentanyl because they took one dot of it. Like I've seen on a police cam vids where the cop ODs because he smelled it. So supposedly George Floyd took a handful of these pills. So anyway, but these people were riled up by left wing politicians, activists. The riots were funded by, you know, communist, socialist, just people who want to disable America's foundation basically and just cause chaos. Okay, so people will get together and riot over a drug addict. People will get together and have the funding to riot over ICE, which is a federal organization that is taking away illegal aliens, and they have court orders to go after these people. Now, when they go to Home Depot, they don't, but come on, the parking lot of Home Depot is filled with illegal aliens. Okay, so they are just following court orders and going to places that are known for having illegal aliens, but you have, people fighting against this and protesting and rioting because one, they are easily riled up. Two, they hate America, and three, they're being paid to do this. And then you have the gated community class, the rich liberals who go out and peacefully protest, but they'll stand outside of City Hall and hold up a sign because they're virtue signaling. Because they want to come off as, oh, I'm just as revolutionary as those people who are being paid to burn down cars in downtown LA. I've seen the videos. It's downtown Culver City, and there's no rioting. Well, one, it's right next to the police station, but two, there's no black people, there's no Mexicans there. It's just a bunch of rich white people. It's like upper middle class rich liberals where it doesn't matter what happens, their life isn't going to change. Okay, so you have these two groups of people protesting and rioting. You got your rich liberals and you got your scumbags who hate America. Okay. So what's worse? George Floyd dying of a drug overdose. The federal government kicking out illegal aliens who cost the taxpayers billions, or a ring of billionaire pedophiles. What's the worst? Or not billionaire, just a ring of pedophiles. Actors, athletes, movie stars, I said actors, athletes, millionaires, billionaires, politicians. A cabal, let's call it a cabal, a group, whatever, of people who hang out at Jeffrey Epstein's island, Jeffrey Epstein's apartment in New York, politicians from Israel, lots, and people in the Secret Service, like just well connected people who are pedophiles. So is that worse than George Floyd? Is that worse than ICE agents? Well, apparently it is, because people will gather and riot and protest over a dead drug addict, and they will gather and protest against government officials deporting illegal aliens. But they won't gather and protest and riot over a pedophile ring. You see? That's why I think we're not going to get any information, because people don't care. Biden let in I've heard different numbers. So I've heard as low as 10 million. I've heard as high as 20 million. And then I heard a stat today that it was 15 million, but there was already 20 million. These numbers of the illegal aliens jump all over the place. You know why? Because we don't know. But we know minimum minimum it's like 10 million. But people go as high as 20 million. So I don't know the numbers, okay? But I do know that there's roughly 200,000, and that's the low number, 200,000 unaccounted for minors that came through the border. And these are just the ones that we can't find, the ones that are unaccounted for. Okay? 200,000 missing children came over when Biden had the border wide open. So these children are missing. And no one's protesting that these children are unaccounted for. You know why? Because people really don't care. The border should have been closed just based on the children. Like when Biden gave that executive order that an unaccompanied minor can just go with anyone who claims to know them, people should have protested then. But you have someone in charge who is probably on the list. Okay, so we live in a society where people really don't care. That's why this list, and we don't even know if this list exists. I just think Pam Bondi liked the attention she was getting. If Pam Bondi said she had a list of the people on her desk, don't you think she would just go, yeah, so and so was on the list and this person was on the list? So either Pam Bondi doesn't care, she was lying, or it's just not important, or there is no list. So imagine you work in the government, and someone puts the Epstein list on your desk, and it says this person did this person did this, and it's like 20 people. Okay, and so if the list is on your desk, it means you read the list. So wouldn't you just say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna tell you who's on the list right now, if you cared. Okay, so I'm assuming if Pam Bondi isn't lying and she had this list and all these files, she has seen the files and looked at the whatever. Like she has seen firsthand vile acts, right? And has seen firsthand the quote unquote list. And she hasn't given up any information. Don't you think a regular person, if they had this information, would go, yeah, I saw the list. I'm telling a joke. Scott Bale's on the list. Okay. So the fact that people aren't in the streets yelling and screaming, Pam Bondi, what's on the list? Apparently you had the list. You know why? No one's doing it because no one cares. You don't have any. The heiress to Walmart was funding the ICE riots. I don't see her funding the Let's Get the Epstein list riots. I don't see anyone funding. I don't see any of these rich people funding who were funding the riots for everything else. The riots we've been having for the past 10 years have been funded by far left groups. Okay? And there's a different mentality between people on the left and people on the right. Okay? So I don't see anyone funding, anyone calling out action for this stuff. It's because no one cares. So, because the people making the most noise are just people making YouTube videos and people who are trying to get clicks and views. I mean, how many videos has Benny done? And I forgot his last name, but I want to say it's Johnson. Let me look up his name. Yeah, Benny Johnson has made a lot of videos, like in the past like week, he's made like 30 Epstein list videos. Does he really care about the list, or is he just getting the best views he's gotten this year? I think it's because he's just getting the best views right now. Charlie Kirk, how many videos has he made on the Epstein list? But he's not really doing anything. Like, you don't see him calling for action because he doesn't really care. And I'm talking about the people in power. So the people in power are usually the people with money. So like, well, let's go back to the George Floyd riots. People in power, you had people in Congress, people in the Senate, you had actors, you had people donating money, you had all these influential people calling for violence, calling for action, calling for you to go out there and protest. And the sheep went out there, and the people who were paid went out there, and they just caused all kinds of havoc. They caused so much havoc that they sent uh, that cop to jail, even though the coroner said he died from a drug overdose and not from having the cops on him. So you can make change if you actually go out there and revolutionize, start a revolution. But you pick the wrong causes. And I know if it's just the people who are getting paid to go out there and riot, it'd be a lot smaller and it would die out. But you do have other people suckered in because, well, one, they want to riot and get that free iPhone. Okay, but it would be a lot smaller. So you don't have any backing to get the Epstein list. You don't have anyone. You don't have anyone rich funding it. You only have social media people who are making videos about it to get clicks, to get views, to get followers. You don't have any politicians going, you got to get out there. You got to get in a Democrat's face or whatever. Because remember when it was a George Floyd, like, you got to get in their name and, you got to get in their face, a Republican's face. There's no passion. There's no passion because no one cares. Okay? Making 20 YouTube videos about this doesn't do anything, but it does get you clicks, it does get you views because the number one trending thing in searches right now is Epstein. And why is Katy Perry so weird? How come Katy Perry can't keep a man? So my thoughts are, one, the judge doesn't have to release the list, so this might get dragged out legally, so it might have to go up to the Supreme Court because there's so many judges. Remember, there's so many people who are involved in this Epstein crap, because apparently a big portion of the population is I guess has been a guest over there. I don't know, because you think the most logical thing would just be Pam Bondi would be like, fuck the law, here's the list. That's what I think. Okay, now Trump said just because someone's on the list doesn't mean they did something, which is true. Because I don't think it's an actual list, because like the media gives stuff a nickname. It's not a list that goes so and so did this, so and so did that. I mean, there's a lot of people on like the flight logs. It doesn't mean that they were over on the island doing stuff. They just use this plane. So that's why I'm saying the quote unquote list, it's going to probably be heavily redacted. and it's just going to be probably, and also it's probably destroyed. Remember, this list was available during Biden's administration. Everything everyone is demanding Trump release, Biden had. Okay, and the only reason why it's an issue now is because people want this to fall on Trump, and so because Trump has, I'm assuming, because these rich people share private planes. So once again, just because you're on the list doesn't mean you're doing bad stuff. And so now there's pressure on Trump for people who probably didn't do anything. Hey, like my name's on the list, but I just had dinner with them, or yeah, I used this plane, but it's because I had a flight to Wyoming for a business meeting. I love Wyoming. That's why I use that state all the time. You know, and also, and it's funny now how all the Democrats want the list to be released because it's putting pressure on Trump. But once again, Biden had the list too. So the problem is everything is political too, and it shouldn't be. Like this whole pedophile ring, the fact that it's political shows you how sad this country is too. But I don't know if I've answered your question. Okay, so I don't think the list is going to be released just as fast because I think you're going to have an activist judge. Because I think a judge is going to be, I think there's going to be powerful people putting pressure on the judge going, no, we can't release the list. So now the release of the list is going to be pushed up to a higher court, and it's going to probably have to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, if the Supreme Court doesn't release the list, then you really know how messed up America is. Okay? You had Congress vote on if we should have a special counsel to release the list. They voted no. So right there you know our government is screwed anyway, okay? Now, if when the list gets released, it's probably not the original list. The list probably doesn't. Once again, I don't even think the list exists. I think most of the evidence has been destroyed because of all this pressure. I'm sure there's evidence being destroyed right now. Anyway, if something does get released, it's going to be either redacted or like it'll be a copy, and if names are released, it's going to be people who are disposable, people who are dead. And when I mean disposable, I mean like how Prince Andrew is just a figurehead. He's just a rich guy. He's not influential. Or it's once again, it's really hard to talk when I'm sober. He's not really a player on the world stage. So it'll just be people, like it'll be like a professional basketball player. It doesn't matter if he's outed. He's not pulling strings in government, or it'll be a retired politician. Like you'll only get people who are nobodies, people who won't affect the banks, won't affect anything major in politics. So, for example, all the people, all the Israel people, because there's lots of Israel connections to Epstein, and we have pictures of high-ranking Israel. I think the prime minister, yeah, the Israeli prime minister was in Epstein's apartment. So, like, what do you think was what do you think what was going on there? He's wearing he's trying to hide his face. So, uh, yeah, and I really think the reason why the list is not being released is because of Israel is connected to it. So anyway, it'll be heavily redacted. All the Israel stuff will be taken out. All this stuff of current high-ranking politicians will be taken out. So I don't think you're gonna get any information. And I don't know what you people want out of this list, but you're not gonna get it. So my prediction is once the list is finally released, you will get one or two names of people that are already dead. That is my prediction. But what people are fantasizing is you're going to get 50 people of Congress, 100 members, 100, all of the Senate. You're going to get six former presidents, half of Hollywood, half of, uh, Israel, whatever. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. So it's wishful thinking. Also, it's been too hyped up, and we have to remember it's not really a list that just has the names and what that person did. Like that doesn't exist. But there is a list of people who were on the plane. And remember that was heavily redacted. And then you have videotapes, and I'm assuming Epstein on the tapes has the names of the people on the tapes, on the videotapes. You have that list, but those are just individual tapes. And even if those, and once again, the FBI took pictures of all the evidence boxes, and all that was redacted too. So I just don't see how we're gonna get any information. And yeah, and that's all. That's all I can tell you, people. Have a good one.